another wonderful WrestleRoni for me and for you. Coming back to the show, one of my favorite people in wrestling, damn it. Chase Bennett, how you feeling?
Living the dream, Mr. Spooky Lou. How are you?
I'm living the dream, man. I'm snowed up at home, stuck in the house, and still living the dream. I'm just networking left and right, making $1 million moves. The podcast has never been hotter. We're doing all right, Chase Bennett.
I like it. I like it. I like it. $1 million moves. Hey, I like it. Let's get down with it.
Let's get down with it. I've been watching you. They got me doing some commentary on APW and NICW, and I'm seeing all kinds of Chase Bennett nowadays. Let's take a look back at your 2024. Give me some highlights.
Uh, let's see. APW Television Champion, multi-time APW Tag Team Champion, Mega Pro Wrestling Claim to Fame winner, the current Mega Pro Championship #1 contender. I mean, it's been a year of highs. Don't get me wrong. There's always going to be peaks and valleys, but right now I'm riding the high. I'm on top of the mountain. I'm ready to prove to everybody just how good your boy is.
I love it. Oh man, I say it all the time. Peaks and valleys. My goodness, but it makes the valleys feel so much better. Dude, you was riding high. I was watching you as APW Tag Team Champions. Now there's just a mess around the APW Tag Championships. You were champs, and the Bronx Bombers was champs. Now the Appalachian Express is out here, and it looks like y'all got some heat. What's going on with the Express, man? I kind of like these guys.
That's one thing I got to give credit where credit is due. Right now in NICW, specifically APW, the tag team division's on a rise. I mean, you're always getting new people in, right? And TJ and Denny, you know, the week before we had lost the titles, we openly said, hey, if you guys want an opportunity, we're more than welcome to oblige you. Now, fast forward over a week later, we lost by some questionable tactics.
Yeah.
But we said, hey, it happens. We'll regroup, we'll bounce back, we'll come back better, and we've done that. And I see TJ, right, somebody that has been trained by the Batten twins, not only as a wrestler but as an official. He's seen a lot of those mountaintops, those peaks, right? Because he was very much the one officiating those matches when I won those belts.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I can't help but to think maybe all the winning, the success, the fame, it's starting to get to him a little bit. And then I look at Denny. Denny was a guy that every time I'd see him in the locker room, we talk about family, the gym, all these things that were important to us, and it just seems like they're two completely different people since winning those tag team titles. And they said, oh, you have to earn a rematch, and it kind of feels like with what happened with Dixon Bad wasn't by accident. I feel personally that it might have been premeditated. Because look, how are you going to have something like that happens and then you align yourself
Yep.
with him?
I brought that up on the show before. Yeah, I agree 110%. They're out there. I got to say, I don't hate it because that promo that came out of it was gold. I highly encourage anybody to watch that promo where they're hanging out with Dixon Bad. So I'm all for it, but it definitely adds to your conspiracy theory, sir.
I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. I look at it one way. The Shooter Society has done this one way since we started this over 2 years ago. We let the talking in the ring, or what we do in the ring, speak for us, right? Week in and week out at APW, we've been there, right?
Yep.
It didn't matter if it was the Cuban Army or the Foreign Legion, or if it was the Divine Dynasty, or if it was Golden Boy, Evan Golden and Michael Gabriel, the Guiding Light. It didn't matter who it was. Week in and week out, we showed the spirit of competition. We fought, we defended those titles, regardless if it was me and Scott Storm, or me and Bobby Yella, and even now me and Corey Sparks. Every week we showed up. We put on. Not only did we show up, we showed out. We balled out week in and week out. And it kind of feels like, they want to discredit that by not giving us an opportunity that we feel that we've earned. And if we have to prove it again, we can do that. We're more than capable.
Okay. Now, NICW, APW, both very tradition based, very rooted in tradition. So, my question, Chase Bennett, where's the traditional rematch clause, my man? Maybe you're mad at the wrong folks. Why hasn't the office made a rematch here? Sorry,
That's
Joe.
I don't know. That's above my pay grade.
Fair enough.
And I you know, far be it for me to go to management and say, hey, I deserve this or I demand this. I would rather come out every week in that ring with Corey, who is my brother, who I battled with inside that ring and outside that ring, right? Two young lions that had everything to prove. If you look at leading up until that disaster that happened, me and Corey hadn't lost. We did everything the right way, and we're going to continue to do it that way because that is the way wrestling should be remembered. That is the way it should be revered with honor. But it just seems like with TJ and Denny, there is no honor. It's just they want to hold on to those titles and ride that claim to fame for as long as they can. And they can take their verbal jabs at me all they want. Um, there's an old saying: you need to turn the other cheek. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's in the Bible, and this ain't the Bible.
Uh oh. Okay, good way to put it. So your argument is, sir, and I think I dig it. I think I'm with it. Title shots and opportunities should be earned in the ring. Enough of this politicking and kissing ass and telling on buddies and whatever's going on backstage nowadays. It's crazy. Let's save the drama for in the ring. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And here's the thing: they're the champions. I respect that. I won't say that they don't deserve it. Um, but we want those tag team titles too. We see where the tag team division's heading. So if there's a team that we have to go through, um, they can name them. We'll show up and we'll show out and do what we've always done. And we're going to do it the right way. Deliver the people good wrestling the way they want it, the way they're going to remember it. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what tag team that is. Me and Corey's preparing. I've been in the gym. We've been in the lab. We've done everything the right way. Now it's time to just go get it.
And I believe in y'all. I certainly do, man. The talent speaks for itself. You talk about you don't know who it could be, man. I mean, Gigolos Inc. are making a stir right now. Rumor has it, Chase Bennett, Spooky Lou's getting the scoops for you right here, and I'll put a little bug in your ear for you. Maybe, just maybe, the Superstar and Super Destroyer are on their way to NICW. So that's a whole different set of tag belts. So they could cross paths in APW land. You could cross paths with those guys in NICW. Just be on the lookout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. As you know, Spooky, in ICW right now, the tag team titles are vacated.
Okay.
Um, and there's a tournament going on now across multiple states. If it comes down to it and the Shooter Society throws their name in that hat, we'll absolutely oblige anybody to step in that ring with us. And once again, we'll do what we've always done, and that's tear down the house. Because if you've watched the Chase Bennett and Corey Sparks match, you know what to expect. It's going to be from pillar to pillar, post to post, nonstop action, just the way we do it.
And
Shoot, ask questions later.
I love it. I'm so excited for you and Corey because you guys are such talents. And with this new deal with NICW, with the talent exchange, with all the promotions that have come on board. Recently, we announced that Boogie's Wrestling Camp's on board. That makes it 8 or 9 promotions that you're dealing with that talent pool. You guys are going to be tested in 2025, man. Who's some dream opponents you're looking at on the landscape you'd like to prove yourself against?
Man, there's so many tag teams out there. Whether it be Tony Ray, USA Tony Ray, and Scott Lee. I have a great amount of respect for those guys and what they've done with NICW. And Scott's no slouch when it comes to knowing his way around the ring. I mean, he's a former NICW world champion. Um, so that's definitely a tag team we want to mix it up with. Um, as far as this the uh, I'm trying to think of their names. You just mentioned it. The Mass Superstar and what was it, Super Destroyer?
Super Destroyer, yeah.
I haven't watched a lot of film about them, I'll have to do my research on that. That's fine. We can do that. I do that day in and day out, anyways.
Right.
But hey, step up. Come on, come on. We're here to prove ourselves day in and day out. That's not going to change.
And not only that, you have the tag tournament. You also got the world title vacated, the NICW big tournament. I think this is history going down right now. You're a part of that, Chase Bennett. How's this tournament looking to you?
Um, not gonna lie, the field is steep. There's good competition from top to bottom. There's no weak side of the bracket. As you already know, my former partner, my good brother Bobby Yella, got the win over the APW television champion, the Baron. So congrats on Bobby on moving up
Hell yeah.
um, the ladder there. Maybe our paths will cross, but looking at it right now, um, just looking at it at face value, when it comes to tournament wrestling, I am no, like, it's not unfamiliar to me. I'm not looking past my first round match. It is a honor to represent APW in this tournament and hopefully bring the NICW title to APW.
No
um,
doubt.
but like I said, there's no lack of talent in that pool. If you look at it, everybody's name that is on that bracket, even names that Spooky Lou doesn't like, they
Hmm.
deserve to because they're representing, PWL or APW or NICW. You know, the talent's coming from all over the United States right now to win that vacated title. Um, and it's a big deal, and I can't say enough good things about it. Me personally, I'm just honored. I was in the APW American title tournament, and when I tell you, that was probably the hardest tournament I've ever been in. That I was just beyond. It even kind of stumped me a little bit that I made it to the semifinals and lost to the eventual winner. That was Bam Bam Lance Erickson. The talent is in APW and it's only getting better. So, it only encourages me to want to step my game up and excel on every level.
No doubt. And what I wouldn't give to see you get your hands on that piece of trash, Lane Cali, in this tournament. I'm not looking at the brackets, but if it just so happens to happen, oh man, I need a front row seat for that. That's enough. I'm not even going to go down that road. We're having a great conversation. Chase, you talk about proving yourself, title opportunities. Might as well touch on this as well. Mega's right around the corner. You got a shot against Mega Champion to get bundles. Talk about a name, bro. This is an opportunity.
Yeah, talk about an opportunity. Mega Pro Wrestling is the first place they give Chase Bennett an opportunity to go out and show the world just how good I am. And I've said it once and I'll say it again. Nobody can say that I didn't, that I didn't earn this, right, or that, oh, you deserve it, because I very much did earn this opportunity. I couldn't imagine just how good it would feel to go back to the place that I called home, where I got my start and win my first world title. There's no secret. There's no love lost between the Shooter Society and the Dark Clouds, right? Um, Obviously, we've crossed paths, and I'll got to give them credit where credit's due. They're damn good,
Yep.
but this time, hey, he can set, and I don't want to discredit him because he's winning in all phases of life. But there's an old saying that hungry dogs run faster. I haven't had a world title before, but I want to come home to Mega, and I want to walk away being a champion for them that they can be proud of.
Dope. You gonna give Spooky Lou the exclusive interview after you win the title?
Oh, absolutely.
Sweet. Cool. Dope. I love it. I'll tell you what, let's circle back to NICW because don't think it could be undersold how important this new deal is, bringing all these promotions together. And it's something we've been talking on the podcast. On the last episode, we had Paparazzi, we had DD Vice and Twist talking about how just a few years ago there was this huge rivalry, not even a rivalry, just straight up hatred between the southern part of the state and northern part of the state. So let's shoot a little bit here, Chase. What can you remember from the good old days? What progress have you seen made recently? How important is it? Just tell me your thoughts on this.
Um,
Take me
when I
back.
when I broke in 5 years ago, it was blasphemous for you to go work for somebody else.
Okay.
Uh, it was very much the wild, wild west of doing things. And at the end of the day, not only is it a sport, it's a sport that draws fans, that draw money.
Mm-hmm.
If it makes business sense, why wouldn't you do it? I think we're at a time now where the state of professional wrestling in West Virginia as a whole is getting better, and that's great. But if you're asking me to be honest with you, I think we're working actively to get it to an even better place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my opinion on it. If it's good for business, if it's good for the fans, if it makes everybody a lot of money, why would you not do it?
Right. Have you saw some cooling of the egos? And I think really what it comes down to is some of the boys got to working together and they're like, hey, these guys aren't so bad. I like this guy. And you see it more and more and it kind of snowballed. And now, hell, Jeff Paul and Joe Brody getting along. What the hell's going on out here?
Yeah, you can definitely say hell freezes over. Uh, I will say this, and this is a credit to Joe. Um, he told me this, and I'm a firm believer in it. He said, "I don't have to like you to do business with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fair, and it's honest, and it's good for business. Why would you not do it?"
Right? Yep.
So anything can happen in the world of professional wrestling.
We're seeing it live before our eyes. Like I say, man, it's a good time to be a West Virginia wrestling fan. Let's talk about the fans, Chase Bennett. What you seeing when you're out there? Tell me about some West Virginia wrestling fans.
I will tell you this: the fans of professional wrestling in this state are unlike any other. They are the best in the world. I've been so fortunate. Growing up, a little kid. I never thought I would have the following or the people backing me the way they have. There's fans that if they see my name or my face on a flyer, they're there.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if there's a foot of snow on the ground or it's raining sideways. It doesn't matter. They show up. So I will say this: the fans of West Virginia professional wrestling are the best in the world, hands down. I enjoy them, and I'm always talking to them.
Hell yeah, I see. I see you're taking the pictures as well. You got more pictures on Facebook than anybody. You're just taking pictures with all the fans.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they're the reasons we're able to do this and make money off of it. At the end of the day, if that's what I have to do to take 5 minutes out of my day to make somebody else's day, for supporting me. I'll do it every night until I guess the world ends. If that's what it takes to make them happy, I'm willing to pour it all out to them.
Going above and beyond, by God. I love it. Well, let's go outside of West Virginia because you made your rounds last year. Take me to some of the surrounding states and what you're seeing as far as in ring and the fans. Just hit me state by state. What's going on out there?
I've been very fortunate. I've wrestled in 6 or 7 different states this past year alone. Um, from South Carolina to North Carolina, which I saw the most insane entrance way I've ever been fortunate enough to walk down in front of a couple hundred people, and I was like, "This is pretty cool." I never thought I'd get to do this.
Dope.
Um, to even like working in places like Ohio, a place that I went to school at.
Uh huh.
It's but if I would, so Kentucky, I got to go to Upstart. I was very fortunate. I got to watch the young goat Myron Reed and Jay Lethal, really tear it down in the main event in front of
Nice.
a building that maybe had 6, 7, 800 people in it. And when I'm telling you, I've never seen at the end of the match, you know, for everybody in the audience to be standing up clapping is surreal, and I'm hoping to get to that moment. Um, I was fortunate enough I got to go because people put in a really good word for me of like, hey, you need to give this kid a look. You need an opportunity, and I was fortunate enough to get um, in contact with Miss T of Southern Championship Wrestling in Ohio, and I was given a great opportunity there, and I'm just going to keep running with that as well.
Dope. Hell yeah, man. Now, you talk about that huge crowd in Kentucky, of all places. Now, of course, Myron Reed's right up the road. Jay Lethal's a huge name. What's some things we have to do here in West Virginia? Because we booked Myron Reed versus Jay Lethal in the biggest city in West Virginia. The fans don't know who Myron Reed and Jay Lethal are, more than likely. So I guess what I'm asking you, do we need to build our own Jay Lethal? How do we get these fans in? How do we get 800 fans into a building?
Uh, to be honest with you, I don't think we need to build them. I think we have them. I just think they've yet to be spotlighted and brought to
I'm
prominence.
trying, damn it.
I know, and nobody's knocking you for it.
I'm trying.
With you until like a year or two ago, I wasn't a household name. Now I'm getting to wrestle every week, multiple times a week. I'm very fortunate for you to bring me on, and even you go out your way to put a good word out there for me as well.
For
So I
sure.
appreciate you, Spooky.
I appreciate you, sir. If I didn't believe me, in my time, I've learned not to vouch for everybody. Just because somebody gives me the time of day for the podcast, I've become very selective on who I vouch for and who I don't, and I will vouch for Chase Bennett. I promise you that. So take that for what it's worth. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You and Corey's been killing it in the tag division, but I don't want to take away from what you've done singles wise either. Like I say, you got to be doing something right to get that title shot in Mega. For the folks that aren't familiar with Mega, because we put over APW quite a bit, just tell folks what they can expect from a Mega Pro Wrestling show.
At a mega show, you can experience a show, professional wrestling like no other, where you can bring your family. You don't have to worry about fights breaking out in the crowd. You don't have to worry about bad attitudes or egos. It is the place where, if you're having a bad day in your day to day life, you can escape that world for an hour or two and watch some of the best wrestling being put on around. And I will say this at Mega Pro Wrestling, if you've never attended an event, there will at least be one match that you're like, I remember that. I remember how I thought, how I felt during that time. And it's a place where opportunity is given to those that are willing to work for it and put the time in.
Yep. Let's go back to talking about making the stars. I think there's really a youth movement going on in West Virginia right now, and it's stepping up everybody's game. It's not just them. Tell me some of the younger guys you're seeing on the come up, whether it be APW, wherever. I don't care where they are, but who has Chase Bennett's attention? Who's doing it right?
I have to give credit where credit's due on this. The young Anthony Rucker, he's a rock star in the making. He was a star in the making when I first saw him a little over a year ago, and I think even now he's still a rising star.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so young Ruck, he's a fighter's fighter, and he's a brother's brother, and I think the world of him. And I hate to do these ones. Lane Cali, as much as you don't like him, you,
Every
it,
time it's like there's a conspiracy against me. But go
no,
ahead.
no. Look, I whatever animosity y'all have, that's fair. But at the end of the day, regardless of his tactics, he's getting the job done. Favorable ways, less valued ways, but it's still getting the job done. So I guess in that way, I can respect it. Young Cadillac Jackson, uh, once again, I he's a little different. He's a little bit of a throwback, but I got to give him credit, man. The kid can talk.
Yeah.
And in a positive light that nobody's talking about that I think they should is Kate Colville. I think
Yes. Thank you. Go ahead.
the kid, I see so much of myself in him at his age, and I've sat and I've talked to him. The match that he had with Eric the Lariat Steele, it was a phenomenal match. He took the match on a moment's notice, didn't have any time to prepare. He just got in his gear, walked out, and stepped up, and he earned my respect by doing that. It's not easy to just step in and say, "Hey, I'll step up and I'm going to go try my heart out." He fought valiantly, and I give him so much respect for that. I tell him, you got to believe in yourself. And that was a big step for him. To get in a ring with a veteran like Eric, who knows every trick in the book, who has won multiple world titles. It speaks volumes to the person he wants to be and the professional that he is going to become one day.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought him up. He's really impressed me. Two people that I've really been impressed with since starting doing commentary for APW, and the more I've become involved with APW and NICW. Cade Koval, and tell me your thoughts on USA Tony Ray. I really like this kid.
You know, when I first met him, I thought he was an absolute blue chipper. just like myself and Corey, I was like, okay, this kid, he's got a gas tank on him, and for the most part, he does it the right way. I can see the fire in his eyes that he wants to be great. And it's only a matter of time before he is. You always got to give credit where credit's due. Scott Lee, the Dragon, um, you know, did a phenomenal job at bringing him up and bringing him up the right way and trying to teach him the sport the way it should be taught.
Hell yeah. Tell you what, Chase, I've got to plug everything on here, so I want to make sure to let you know, sir, and I want to know your opinions because as much as you wrestle a new school style, the way from what I know of you, you're pretty old school in your ways. So I want to throw this at you. February 8th, February 7th in Morgantown. Marcus Twist is having a birthday party. We're doing a whole no ring show. You talk about Lane Cali. We just announced PWL champion Lane Cali going to be in no ring brawl. There's going to be death matches. Oh yeah, believe me. We got barbed wire. We've got gusset plates. I doubt Lane's going to do any of that crazy stuff because he's Lane. But I want to get your opinion, sir. No ring has come to West Virginia. It's a different style. Uh, I don't know if you've seen it. Is it something you would ever do? You're getting in there with no ring, just punching each other in the face, doing the thing. What do you think about this craziness?
No ring. Is there rules?
No rules, man. I mean, there's going to be a ref to count the three or get the submission.
Mm,
And it's a trained ref. I'll give these refs their due. They bring in legitimate professional wrestling referees. They bring in legitimate professional wrestlers. So I will vouch for everybody on these cards. They're trained professionals.
yeah, I'd absolutely do it.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I? Right? No rule. Well, there's a ref. They count three.
Yep.
They do submissions. Technical wrestling's right up my forte. And I'm be honest, there's something to be said about being able to take a punch to the mouth with a mouthful of blood and smile at somebody and know you just broke their fighting spirit.
Hell yeah. Oh,
I like
that's the answer I like to hear, sir. Well, I mean, it's getting pretty popular down my way, so.
there is something
Hmm.
if that is to happen, right? I wouldn't mind running something back, maybe a 2 out of 3 submissions match.
There you go.
Just plug the idea.
When we gonna get you and Ruck? Is that like we've been trying for over a year now to get you and Ruck. I'm gonna throw it to the bookers out there, all the promoters watching. Who has the balls to put these two men in the ring? And they're twins. It's the fight of the twins, bro. It sells itself. Put these guys face to face on a flyer, and they're gonna be like, those two look like each other, and they look like they're pretty tough. I kind of want to see that.
I think it'd be good. It looks like the Spider-Man meme where everybody's pointing at each other.
Yeah, and plus y'all can work. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I guarantee it. I vouch it. I vouch for the match as well. So book it.
I like, I like it. You know, speaking of title matches,
Hmm.
I got to plug this one. February 1st, Southern Championship Wrestling in Ohio. I've been fortunate enough to be granted something that I felt like I kind of deserved there,
Hmm.
uh, which was a match for the SCW Double Crown Championship. For those that don't know about Southern Championship Wrestling from Ohio, um, it is absolutely family friendly. It's very much a throwback. You'll see that everything I'm talking about is old school, but with a new school look to it. Right?
Right.
You got to keep it fresh in the world. They've been around since I do believe it was 1982. They rebranded in 1990. They're doing monthly shows, and they're growing. They're on the rise too. So always be looking out for those flyers as well.
Hell yeah. Okay. Well, you have my interest, sir. Who you going up against up in Ohio?
I do believe it is SCW's Golden Boy, Rick Cartier, something like that.
Okay.
I'm terrible with pronunciations of these names that don't make any sense, but it is what it is. I will say, from what I've seen while I'm there, he is the Golden Boy, and I respect him for that. But once again, I'm on the hunt for gold. I got to bring it back to the society, right? And hey, at the end of the day, money's money, and it spends the same everywhere you go.
Man, you could be off to a hot start off the year, man. You're in numerous title tournaments. You got title shots coming up. You could just be draped in gold.
Not a bad idea. But you know what? If I could say what would be the crowning accomplishment, for the better part of a year, I lived and breathed tag team wrestling, regardless if it was, Scott Storm and me as the Storm Chasers, or
Mm.
me and Bobby Yella as the Young Lions, or even me and Corey as the Shooter Society. I think about how much those APW tag team titles mean to me, and I can't help but to think about all these things with, like, if it's if it's not a personal thing against us, why would you align yourself with Dixon? And I'm not being woe is me. Like I said, I just need to know a team that wants to challenge us for that number one contendership spot, and let us earn it. Let's do it. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of them sitting there turning and getting their verbal shots in where they can. Let's put the money on the table. Let's put the belts on the line. Let's make this happen. I'm tired of waiting. It's the same runaround of, oh, you got to go earn it. Well, week in and week out, Chase Bennett and Corey Sparks, the Shooter Society, we've earned it. If you look at any promotion that we've went in and worked for, we've earned it. There's a reason why we're in the Pitbull Invitational Cup, right? If you look at that alone, that tournament, the teams that are in it, right? You have the Runway, a PWI Top 500 tag team. You have the Dark Clouds, former OVW tag team champions, right? You look at the Heat Seekers, former NWA champions. Custom made, former AIWF world champions. That is the names that we're putting our names in the hat with to compete against. It would only seem right that there was representation in that tournament for American Pro Wrestling. Would you agree, Spooky?
I agree 110%.
I mean, it eats at me daily because it's like I can't get on social media without TJ Walker throwing jabs at me, and it has to be the titles have went to their head
Man.
because for
Mm.
weeks he's mentioned us, but refuses to give us a tag title match. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think you're just going to have to go punch him in his mouth.
That's not a bad idea,
I
Spooky.
mean, I bet they want to have a match then, or I don't know. See how it works out for you.
I mean, obviously you saw the stint that they pulled on TV,
Mm.
right? Oh, let's align ourselves with Dixon Bad, and let's have these gifts, right, for tears and all those things. You know, they can take the low road, but like I said, at the end of the day, I thought they were good people. I thought they were friends, and maybe the tag titles have, the fame has went to their heads. Um, but if hey, at this point, I haven't had anything to chase for. I really haven't. If you look at that tag division, I've held those titles for almost a year combined
Okay, yeah.
reigns. Um, I would like to be the one to break that record, in APW of most combined reigns. And I really believe in my heart of heart, Chase Bennett and Corey Sparks, the Shooter Society, show up and show out week in and week out. If our name's on the card, you're going to get great professional wrestling. And it a show that you have tag team wrestling on and the tag team champions aren't defending the belts don't seem like tag team wrestling to me, or tag team champions. When me and Bobby were tag team champions, or when me and Corey were tag team champions, we defended those belts on what felt like almost every other night. We took on all comers. If you wanted to step up and prove yourself, we were willing to give you the opportunity. And it just seems like they're giving us the runaround and making every excuse to not give us an opportunity.
Kind of sounds like you're calling their bluff, Chase.
Absolutely. And, look, I have no problem. If Joe Brody hears this, give us a team. Make it a tournament. Do whatever you have to do. If it's one night only, give us an opportunity to show the world just how good we are, right? Because everybody's seen it. Like, we know we can win those belts. You have a new tag team who I don't think has defended those titles, and they make every excuse in the book. Oh, my back hurts, or oh, I have to go put on this muscle rub on my back because I sneezed and threw my back out. But you're not going to give the Young Lions, you're not going to give the Shooter Society, a team that is there almost weekly, proving ourselves the opportunity that we feel like we deserve. It's every excuse in the book. At this point, just name a team, give us our opportunity. Let's go corner to corner, pillar to post. Let Chase Bennett and Corey Sparks show the world what the Suplex Tour is all about. I'm just saying, it sounds good to me. What do you think, Spooky?
I think you sound damn confident. I tell you, while we're talking to Joe, I will request, Joe, if you can, if I can get a copy of the NICW rulebook, I'd just like to take a look at it myself. Just putting that out there. But I tell you what, Chase, the more I work with APW, American Pro Wrestling, out of Mount Hope, the more I'm enjoying it. And you've been there, man. You've watched it evolve. You've been through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Take me through your time in APW, watching this promotion grow and evolve. To the listeners that aren't familiar, kind of explain things to them so they'll know a little better.
APW, American Pro Wrestling, is a throwback, but it's bringing you wrestling the way you remember it, the way you've always wanted it, right? True professional wrestling, not a soap opera, none of that. It is truly the spirit of competition where honor is revered above all else. And for an opportunity, just to say this, not only have I seen APW grow, but because of APW as a professional wrestler, I've been able to grow. I've learned how to do things the right way. I've had the best guidance in the world there. Um, and the sky's the limit for it, and we're only growing, and it's only going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So, not to be mean about it, but, either you're in or you're in the way.
I like it. I like it because you know what? It seems like a lot of promotions in the area are in. And we talked about that throughout the show. And I don't think it can be undersold, man. This is a moment in West Virginia wrestling history that we're living right now. We've seen a lot of things in the past few years, a lot of things that we never didn't think we'd ever see. I think we're just getting started, man. We're living fucking history.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Um, if you look at it, right, just historically, the venues that we've been in, the places that we've been able to see, a company start so small and branch out and partner with so many others. You have, you know, you had Bam Bam Lance Erickson to break the ice and defend the American heavyweight title at a PWL show, right? You've had Bobby Yella go to TWA and compete in a battle royal. You've had me on TWA shows, mega shows, Upstart, SCW. You think about all these places. Corey Sparks going everywhere and anywhere he can get. It only speaks volumes to how much this is growing and the effect that it's going to have on West Virginia wrestling as a whole.
Yep. I'm excited to be a part of it, man. I really am. I think it's exciting times. I really like I say, I keep harping on about it, but it's a pretty damn big deal, especially and not just for West Virginia. It's going to touch Ohio. It's going to touch PA, the Carolinas, Virginia, NICW stomping grounds. I mean, it's going to shake things up in a lot of areas, but right here is the epicenter, if you will.
Oh yeah, and just to be a part of it all, think about it, right? Imagine having a world title, or better yet, imagine being a world champion where everywhere you go, you are recognized, right? It is a true world championship. It's been defended overseas. It's been defended across multiple states this year alone. It just makes sense that everybody would want to be a part of that because how can you not recognize the body of work that has been put in for that title by those champions, right?
Hmm.
If you look whether it was Victor Andrews or the Cuban Assassin or Bam Bam Lance Erickson, even Scott Lee. You have to think about those names and what is surrounded those names as far as greatness, right? Cuban, been everywhere, done everything. Victor Andrews, been everywhere, has done work for WWE, has been to these different countries. You think about these names, and if in my mind, as a young lion who wants to make this a living and make this dream live, it almost seems that you would have to hold that title to get where you want to go. Does
Yep.
that make sense?
For sure. For sure. And let's look at it. Let's say you do win that title one day. I mean, again, now you have all these promotions you have to answer to. Everybody's going to want the champ to sell some tickets. So how do you balance that with the real world? I mean,
Uh,
now we're going back to the territory days. I mean, you're already working weekly, if not a few times a week. Now now you're in demand.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. You know, thinking about it, if I was to win that tournament, I would be the youngest Triple Crown winner in NICW history.
Okay.
I mean, I've held the American television title. I've held the tag titles. It's just that one that slipped through my fingers, you know. And it's a hell of an opportunity. And what is a better way to start off a new year than winning the richest prize in NICW, you know?
Hmm. And now, and bro, talk about another advantage we have now that wasn't around years ago. Things are actually being recorded and preserved on the internet now. Not only the internet, I mean, APW has TV in 5 or 6 different states and all these different markets, so people can
More than
see it.
more than that.
Yeah, as far as the different states APW is in.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and just like that's television. That's not including the house shows in Ohio, you know, or you know Virginia or North Carolina. All these things are saved and recorded. So if you're not getting them on TV, you can always find them on Rumble,
Hmm.
right? So we're not just on TV. We're not just doing these house shows. There's always a form of wrestling that can be consumed as far as the NICW APW banner goes.
Yeah, and it's not just these guys. I gotta give it to most indie promotions are stepping up their game on production. It's out there for you to watch. Nothing beats seeing it live, but if you can't make it live, it's accessible. Now things are out there, and that's what really frustrated me when I came in. These guys' matches weren't being seen. You guys are having bangers, and there's not even a camera recording it unless it's somebody in the crowd. Now it's there. I mean, now's the time to capitalize if there ever was one.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that.
Well, what's some goals for 2025? You've got all these championships in front of you. Let's rule the championships out because by God, you're going to have some gold by the end of the year. We both know that. So that's no, it's no surprise. What's some other goals for Chase Bennett in 2025?
Um, that's a good question. So as it stands, I've wrestled in 7 different states in a year. I'd like to double that. I would like to at least make it halfway across this country as well as wrestle overseas. Right, that's something not every independent guy gets to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that my body of work speaks to it. Um, you know, if you look at some of the greatest of all time, they've been everywhere and done everything. I want my name at the end of the day when you're looking through the book of the greatest to ever do it. I want Chase Bennett's name to be right there too.
I love it. All right, I got one for you. We still have some time to burn here, Chase. I'm the casual WWE fan. I just watched Raw for the first time on Netflix, and I'm kind of curious about wrestling. I'd like to know more. Why should I watch independent wrestling instead of the stuff they got on Netflix? Sell me on independent wrestling.
So you have sports entertainment, which I won't say is entirely wrong. Then you have the sport of professional wrestling. You know, I believe there's a difference between an event and a spectacle, right? An event you can go back and watch. A spectacle, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So why would you deny yourself missing out on a great opportunity to go watch and be compelled, right? Um, Through the actions of others, right? Um, it's the greatest blue collar art form in the world, the best blue collar entertainment in the world. It is the greatest sport on earth, and I challenge anybody to name one better than professional wrestling.
I guarantee it. I guarantee it. I was just thinking about the other day when it comes to an indie show, you're right there next to the ring. The wrestlers hear what you yell at them. I promise you they do. And a lot of the times they'll yell right back at you. Man, my mom used to get a kick out of it. She would cuss those wrestlers and keep it family friendly. There's kids in the crowd. Come on now.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've had some things yelled at me. Mainly good things like, "Hey, go punch him in the mouth." I'm like, "Oh, that's a good idea." Pop,
It's a
problem solved.
good
But
time for everyone.
you gotta keep it within the rules.
Yeah. What's too far nowadays? Well, you see, who's going too far? Who's kind of pushing the envelope a bit too much? How far is too far, Chase Bennett?
Too far is aligning yourself with dirtball human beings, presenting yourself to somebody as a friend who's been there through your highs and lows and had that support, um, who was somebody you could go to when you were having a down day, and then aligning yourself with dirt balls, and then denying somebody who has worked so hard at something that they absolutely love and denying them the opportunity of achieving it. That's too far in my opinion.
That sounds like that's really grating on you. That's really wearing on you, huh?
Night and day. There's no excuse. At the end of the day, you don't have to go the low route, right? You could just straight up tell me, hey, I don't like you. But at the end of the day, you got to do your job, right? If we're the number one contenders, or if anybody's the number one contenders, regardless of you like them or not, you owe them what they deserve, what they have earned. So you can run if you want to, but at the end of the day, there's nowhere you're going to hide, right?
Right on. And I'll tell you, Chase, you're my boy. But you have you've thrown a lot of stones at the Appalachian Express while you've been on here. So to be fair, in the interest of fairness, allow Spooky Lou to say, my platform is everyone's platform. AJ Walker, Denny Burgess, even Dixon Bad. You're all invited to the podcast. If you have any type of retort, if you want to explain your side of things, the invite is there. I think it's only fair, Chase. I apologize.
You got to do what you got to do. Um, and I get that. And it's good business. But I think what I would almost employ is you to talk to Joe Brody, talk to NICW and APW officials, and see why we haven't got an opportunity for those tag titles. I, I mean, it just blows my mind, that you would sink so low to say, oh, hey, where's Chase? He's, oh, he's hurt. Or, if Corey Sparks was sick and, he had an illness that, kept him from being there, not just for his safety, but the safety of the audience, right? The paying fans, and take the low road of, oh, well, where is he? I just feel like that is a low road. And I feel like they've turned on everybody that was there and supported them. When we won the tag titles, we were there. When they won them, we were there showing support, high fives, like, hey, brother, good job.
Right.
And it just seems since then, there's no middle grounds, right? There's no spirit of competition. It's them just wanting to gatekeep. That's the word, gatekeep. And it almost sounds like they're giving us every excuse in the book on why they're not a fighting champion, and that bothers me. I know it's got to bother the fans, right? You come to see great professional wrestling, but you have champions that are like, I don't want to break a nail tonight.
But if they're going out there and cutting really good promos, that's another form of entertainment. So the fans were still getting their money's worth. And you invite me to, but yeah, they should be competing them. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate as best as I can here. You invite me to, talk to Joe Brody and the NICW. I invite a statement from them. But I'll tell you this, Chase, I'm just kind of getting my foot in the door at APW, and Spooky Lou has an uncanny ability to piss off promoters. I don't want to shake the hornet's nest too much. Not yet, at least.
Well, at this point, the fans are asking, the Shooter Society is asking, why haven't we got that opportunity yet? I mean, we deserve some form of, you know, the company holding it to a standard and saying, hey, this needs to be looked at. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, hey, I agree 110%. I certainly do. I give you that. So I'm curious to see what comes of this podcast, sir. But we are heading into the final 10 minutes, Chase Bennett, in the final 10. If there's any merch you want to sell, upcoming dates, socials, if there's anything you need to get off your chest, whatever you want to put out there in the ether, sir, my platform is your platform, and you have right at it.
Well, I'm going to do what I've always done and plug my heart out and give everybody everything I have. So if I only have 10 minutes, allow me to maximize those 10 minutes to the best of my ability. APW every Thursday in Bradley, West Virginia. Be there. It is the best professional wrestling around. It's something you can bring your family to, your kids to, and it'll create lasting memories that last a lifetime. And, as a casual fan growing up, I saw people that inspired me to want to get into this and do this. And it's a great opportunity for everybody to escape, the bad weather, whatever you got going on in life, and see great competition, wrestling the way you remember it, the way you deserve it. But also, I would I'd be remiss if I didn't plug once again Mega Pro Wrestling, right? January 18th. Racine, West Virginia. It's been over a year, Spooky, since Mega has been in Racine.
Mm.
And I have this big match with the Get, and I'm looking at it, but I can't even overlook that because the following week we have the first ever Pitbull Invitational Cup, right? You have APW going to Grundy on February 1st. I'm going to be in Ohio for SCW February 1st wrestling. So there's so many forms that we can do this on. And if I had to say this, I would say TJ, Denny, Appalachian Express, give us a reason. If you can't find one, or if you can, give us a reason why we don't deserve a tag team title match. Or better yet, name a team, name an opponent for me and Corey Sparks, whether we're tagging together or doing it in singles matches. Name an opponent, give us an opportunity, and let us do what you two have yet to do and earn it.
There you go. Maybe we should book a three-way with you, Corey, and their buddy Dixon Bad. Book it.
You know what? I guarantee you the Appalachian Express would absolutely love that because they have the number game against us, right? You have TJ, you have Denny, you have that. I ain't going to say no names. Dixon Bad versus me and Corey, right? But don't worry, if that does happen, we're at least likable, right? Can't say that about Dixon Bad, TJ, and Denny. I guarantee you we could find a third person. I almost absolutely guarantee it. That, I mean, at this point, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm sick and tired of waiting. Give me a name, give me a list. Let us go work. Let us go show you day in and day out why the Shooter Society stands tall against anybody.
I love it. Man, you have a hell of a road ahead of you, Chase Bennett. I wish you the best in everything, all these opportunities heading your way. I'm sorry it's frustrating times, but we started off the podcast talking about peaks and valleys, right? So, hey, man, I think you're going to be just fine. You're a strong dude. You got a good head on your shoulders. You'll be all right.
Oh, absolutely. Um, I sit here and I think about it. When the lows are lows, you think about all of the stuff that you've been through, all the things that you've went through to get where you had to go, and just to be afforded the opportunity would be huge. Um, I've always tried to do things the right way, and I don't know if any of these things that I've said on this podcast today have fallen on deaf ears. But all Chase Bennett and Corey Sparks, all the Shooter Society ever needed was an opportunity. So if we got to go and compete against every new tag team coming and going, we'll do just that. Because at the end of the day, we want to be tag team champions again, right? But not only tag team champions, we want to cement our legacy in the greatest tag teams to ever do it. To coin a phrase, when it's all said and done, Chase Bennett, Corey Sparks, the Shooter Society, top five, dead or alive.
I love it. Hell yeah. And I tell you one thing, Chase, these opportunities aren't being given to you by any means. Y'all have earned them. You've earned the singles opportunities. So you stay the course, my man.
There's a lot of noise that, and, when you have that outside noise right now, me and Corey, we've talked about it. We have tunnel vision. We have a game plan. We have a purpose. We know why we're doing this, and we know we can be the absolute best at it.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you coming on, sir. I will ask you to hang on the line with me. To the listeners, this is why we do it, man. Chase reached out, said he had something to get off his chest. Well, by God, he vented, and now the world knows. Keep an eye on Chase Bennett. Keep an eye on Corey Sparks, the Shooter Society. It's going to be a hell of a year for both men. Keep an eye on APW. Like he said, every Thursday in Mount Hope doing their TV tapings. If you're not in the area, you can find them on TV. You can find them on Rumble. You can find them on WrestleRoni, Chase.
Absolutely. One thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to leave a lasting impression with this. When you're good, you tell people you're good. When you're great, you tell the people you're great. But when you're the absolute best, Spooky Lou, they don't call you the absolute best. They just call you the Shooter Society.
Oh, see,
Be on the
be on the lookout. I love it. Hell yeah. So, obviously, a very confident man before your eyes. I'm feeling pretty damn good myself, Chase Bennett. We got all kinds of good stuff coming down the pike this week on the Roni. It's a few surprises as well. Wait till you see. So, and don't forget, February 7th in Morgantown, Marcus Twist Deathmatch Sock Hop Extravaganza. New match added yesterday. It's going to be a wild one. Go out there and live your dreams. Treat each other with kindness and respect. Don't take no shit from nobody. I love you. Stay tuned. Appreciate the hell out of you. We'll see you on the next one.